What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, and today we're going to build some lineups for the Daytona Road Course. All right. Oh, man. Chris Buescher. If you read my FanDuel write-up last week, I said I'm going to crawl in a hole if he didn't do well in the Daytona 500 because I was so heavy on him. First wreck of the day, and then we had to suffer through quite possibly the worst Daytona racing we've seen in a while before a great finish. Well, I wouldn't call it great because that wreck was, once again, for the second year in a row, pretty scary. But Michael McDowell wins it, which is awesome. So, not all that bad. I'm ready to move on. Week 2, race 2 of the regular season at the Daytona Road Course, which, disclaimer, knock on wood, road courses have been very kind to me as far as DFS goes over the last 2 or 3 years. These have been my most profitable tracks. So hopefully we can keep that hot streak going. Welcome to, let's call it Contrarian Week, because I think that's going to end up being the play. And we're going to talk about why and how lineups the various different ways that lineups can be constructed this week, simply because of how this starting lineup for Sunday's race is. So we have the road course ace, Chase Elliott, on the pole, starting first, Michael McDowell second, Austin Dillon third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Harvick rounding out the top 5. We got guys like Priest, Corey LaJoie, Ross Chastain, all starting top 10. Bubba Wallace, who's been awful at road courses, also starting there, up there in 10th. We also have plenty of chalk way in the back. So we got Ty Dillon 38th, Eric Jones 37th, Alex Bowman 36th. AJ Allmendinger's in that 16 car for Colleague this week. He's starting 34th. Newman 33rd, DiBenedetto 32nd, Chris Buescher 30th, Ryan Blaney 27th, Tyler Reddick 24th, Byron 22nd. The second best road course racer right now, possibly the first. You could make a case. Top 2 for sure. Martin Truex Jr., he's starting 19th. We have a ton of options. And if you thought we were going to get away from the whole place differential strategy with Daytona or after the Daytona 500, think again, because with how this starting lineup is set and how short this race is on Sunday at the Daytona Road Course, it's 70 laps. That's it. So that means we don't have nearly as many laps led or fastest laps points. So that puts more of an emphasis on place differential and finish position. So there's a lot of chalk this week. Let's go ahead and pull up my projections for Sunday's race. So Truex, of course, projected highest. Not very surprising there. He is the top 2 road course racer right now. Ryan Blaney second. He's been awesome been super fast on road courses lately. Plus, he's starting 27th. He's projected to finish right around 6th or 7th in all of these combined projections I use when I compile this. Alex Bowman 3rd. So you'll notice Chase Elliott is 4th. Chase Elliott, who could very well lead this race from beginning to end. He almost did it at Watkins Glen a couple years ago. Started on the pole, won the first stage, won the second stage, won the race, led 80 of the 90 laps, I believe. He's projected 4th highest. He's the second highest priced driver on the slate, projected 4th highest with my projections. Because there are so many other drivers starting so far back, and that place differential is coming in to play. So just to be transparent here, these projections have Chase Elliott, I believe, projected to lead about 45 laps, something like that, and have in the mid-teens fastest laps. So just to get an idea of where these projections are putting him as far as dominator, they have him as the top dominator, and they have him leading about over half the race and having the most fastest laps. And he's still 4th. So let's take a look here at recent road course performances. We've talked about it all week. You're going to hear the same thing from me all the time. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., top two for sure, and then there's a decently wide margin down to everybody else. So this chart right here, and so I have two charts here. They look very similar, but the difference is one's just 2020 and one is 2019 and 2020. The one on the screen right now is just 2020. And you'll notice these percentages. So we got total laps, fastest laps, laps led, and top 15. So that's number of laps ran in the top 15. What this is doing as far as percentages, though, is it's taking the fastest laps, laps led, and top 15 divided by the total number of laps that a driver ran, not by the total number of laps in those races. The reason I wanted to do this, especially for top 15, and even fastest laps and laps led, but mainly for top 15, is because I wanted to get a very good idea of how the driver performed when they were actually on the track. Chase Elliott blew an engine at Sonoma and didn't complete all the laps. I didn't want his top 15 percentage to be affected by that. So affected by him not being on or actually running the race. So it's not as prevalent here with just last year's races because most people completed the majority of the laps, except you see Kyle Busch here at 162. Most other drivers have 174. But when you throw in the 2019 races as well, you'll see Chase Elliott here at 433, Truex at 463. So I didn't want Truex to have. You can see here they have the same number of laps inside the top 15. Technically, Chase ran more laps in the top 15. So I wanted these charts to reflect that. But anyway, so going back, 2020, we had two road course races, one at the Charlotte Roval, one here at the Daytona Road Course. If you remember the race at the Daytona Road Course, there was rain. I think the track was wet to start with, and then it rained during the race. We all not expected, but wouldn't have been surprised if the whole field or a majority of the field wrecked just because we haven't ran in the rain before. And they had no problem. They're the best drivers in the world. Like why we were so up in arms at that possibility, looking back on it, is a little crazy. It's great that they didn't wreck, but at the same time, like that, I remember that race well, and a lot of concern by everybody is, well, how many people are going to wreck? Is this race even going to be good to watch? Chase Elliott, of course, ended up winning, just like he did at the Charlotte Roval. And if you look here, I got this sorted by fastest laps. What's interesting there is you see Ryan Blaney, who should have won the Busch Clash, and we'll get to that here in a second. Second in fastest laps last year, Truex in third with 21. Chase Elliott, of course, leading the way. So laps led, Chase first, William Byron second, Hamlin, but Chase pretty much is all over everybody. And then we're going to sort this by the percentage. Kurt Busch actually last year ran more laps inside the top 15 than Chase Elliott, but both were right there nearly at 90%. A little bit further down to Logano, Byron, Truex, Keselowski, Eric Jones, all at over 75%. You got Christopher Bell there at 70%, which if you read my preview, by the way, speaking of Christopher Bell, if you read my preview, you know why I'm maybe higher than him than most other people this week. I really like that he's in that 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. I think he could surprise some people on Sunday. Actually, one of my bets this weekend is going to be Christopher Bell to finish top 10 at plus 200. So just keep that in mind. Let's look at 2019 and 2020. So of course, fastest laps, Chase Elliott, Truex accounted for 169. Nice. Of those, next highest was William Byron at 31. Ryan Blaney again at 28. Kyle Busch, which is a little surprising because he has sucked at road courses here lately. Make sure you take those results with a grain of salt. He is a lot better than what his recent numbers show. And then we got Logano, Hamlin, Harvick, all of them, no significant numbers here. Laps led over the last 2 years, this is 5 races on road courses. Chase Elliott, 179 laps led. He leads 41% of the time he's on the track. Truex Byron tied at 71, so less than half of Chase Elliott, and then you got Harvick way back there in 34th. Hamlin a little bit further back with 20, or 34. Hamlin a little further back with 20. As you can tell, it's very clear who the best drivers are on these tracks. It's not that hard to figure out. But so this is the first official race of the 2021 regular season, the first official road course race. But we did race here last week, or a week and a half ago, for the Busch Clash. Do you remember Kyle Busch won? Ryan Blaney probably should have won. Chase Elliott wrecked him on the last lap going for the win. And that allowed Kyle Busch to go up there and get the victory. But once again, it was kind of who we expected. So let's take a look at the statistics from that race. Let me make sure I'm pulling up. Yep, here we go, Busch Clash. Average running position, the best guy on that list, the best guy in the race was Denny Hamlin with an average running position of 2.7 that race. Ryan Blaney, who should have won, had the second best at 6.1. Kyle Busch, 6.6. So one thing you'll see Chase Elliott there at 9.2 and maybe think, oh, maybe he had a bad race. It wasn't that great. You got to remember, they failed pre-race inspection this race. And in my opinion, from what I watched and saw, they used most of this race as a pure test session. Trying to figure out, Chase was being super conservative in traffic. Maybe they were trying to figure some things out for this race this weekend. But I don't think the lack of speed that we saw from Chase Elliott, from what we probably should have expected, is a big deal. That doesn't bother me at all. One thing from that race, though, fastest laps, Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney both had 6. Those were the highest of the race. See, they're pretty spread out. Green flag speed. This is something. Let me preface this by saying you shouldn't put the most stock into this Busch Clash race. Everybody had a certain strategy. They were simply going for the win. I'm not going to, say, oh, the Gibbs cars are going to be the best cars here on Sunday in the actual race because they were in the Busch Clash. They had the top 3 green flag speed out of the 21 cars. I don't think you should put a ton of stock into it, but it still needs to be noted. Those Gibbs cars, Martin Truex Jr. especially, looked incredibly impressive. Truex clearly had the best car that night. He ended up wrecking, but he should have won that race. If he wouldn't have wrecked, he would have won that race. Another guy that was surprising was Tyler Reddick. He started near the front. He stayed there most of the race. He ended up finishing 4th. He wasn't great on road courses last year, but that brings in one more facet of an early season road course race. And the first race of the season is we have plenty of younger drivers. Sorry, I'm trying to find the tab I want here. Let's just go here. So we have a lot of younger drivers. We got rookie Chase Briscoe. We have Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, who all have at max 2 road course starts in the Cup Series. We do not have a lot of data with those guys to analyze. Of course, we can go and look at Xfinity stats, but how well do those translate? To me, they don't translate very well because they were the top talent in those series. They generally had the best cars. You're going to be good at tracks all around. So, sorry, kind of lost my train of thought. That's something to consider as we build these lineups is how heavily we lean on who's been good on the road courses lately and how we effectively add in those other guys that we aren't quite sure about. Even AJ Allmendinger, we all know how good of a racer AJ Allmendinger is. My concern with him is he's in a car that is making its third ever Cup Series start. Colleague Racing this will be their third start, and the other two were on super speedways. He drives the hell out of his cars. He could destroy this thing, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. So yes, I understand the allure of picking AJ Allmendinger, and we'll get into the strategy here in a little bit. I think there's a lot of other guys that are better options than to go with the name of AJ Allmendinger because he's starting 34th. Obviously, my projections here, I would rather go William Byron than AJ Allmendinger. But let's get into these DraftKings lineups. So like I said, the starting lineup for this race, it doesn't make it difficult. It adds another layer of difficulty, I guess. It just makes it, there's going to be a ton of chalk. There is going to be, and if the chalk performs as expected, if Ryan Blaney finishes top 5, Truex wins the race, Alex Bowman top 10, William Byron top 10, chances are the winning lineups in GPPs, there's going to be a shit ton of ties. That's just what's going to happen because a lot of people are going to land on the same lineup. Same for cash games. A lot of people are going to land on the same lineup. You go down, for lower price drivers, there's really slim pickings down here. There's that, at least that I would feel comfortable with. Obviously, you're not going to pick a Corey LaJoie or a Ryan Preece. Do you want to go super bottom feeder and pick James Davison? I personally don't. I think he's running the 15 car, though, this week. So that makes me a little bit better than if he was running a Rick Ware car. But still, his upside is probably 30th. That's about it. So we got Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez. Ty Dillon is in the 96 Brothers for Gaunt. Relatively safe option. I think last year, let's pull up how he's done recently on road courses. Now, obviously, he was in a different car, but I don't hate the Toyotas by any means. 23rd, 20th, and 15th over the last 3 road course races. Mid-20s most of the time. He has a couple 30-place finishes, but you get the point. Daniel Suarez, it's hard to tell how good that 99 car is going to be this year. You probably know what I actually think of Suarez and his talent. But can he pull off a mid-20s finish at that price? If both these guys can pull off a mid-20s finish, they're going to be the highest owned low-price driver. You trust Anthony Alfredo. I don't, especially since he's starting even higher up. I wouldn't say I don't, but right off the cuff, I'm going to gravitate toward Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez here. But then just moving up a little bit, away from the back markers and Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez, we got Stenhouse starting 16th, no. Bubba, no. Starting 10th. Chastain starting 9th, no. Austin Dillon starting 3rd, hell no. You couldn't pay me to put him in a lineup. Michael McDowell starting 2nd. I think he's a very good road course racer, but no. Starting 2nd, no. Cole Custer, if you want to be super contrarian, maybe, but at 7,000, that's tough since he's starting 13th. And then Chris Buescher, who's a solid top 20 driver most of the time on road course races, but they have him priced up at 7,200. Is he worth that when you can jump up and grab Reddick at starting 24th at 75? So let's go back to before we start this lineup. My projections, obviously, you can see them here on the screen. You can check them out. I'll link them in the description as I always do. Truex, Blaney, Bowman, top 3, and then Chase Elliott. So I ran my projections through an optimizer and just 150 lineups and see what it spit out. It only put Chase Elliott on 17% of those lineups, which is insane. But when you really think about it, it's not as crazy as you think because of how these place differential plays are. And is he going to be worth it? I think he's going to need a Watkins Glen like performance to for it to make sense. He's either going to need that type of performance where he leads. Let me pull up this race really quick. We all know how good Chase Elliott is on these road courses. So Watkins Glen 2019 started first, finished first, led 80 of the 90 laps. I forget how many fastest laps he had that race, but it obviously the best pick. But so what we're looking at here is, do you take the guy that's gonna? I mean, you can pretty much guarantee Chase Elliott's going to lead a good portion of this race, if not the vast majority of laps. He's going to pick up plenty of fastest laps. Is it worth it though to go roll with him over a Martin Truex Jr. starting 19th, who's only $300 more, or Ryan Blaney starting 27th? $300 less. AJ Allmendinger, $200 less than that, starting 34th. Kyle Busch, who could win this race. If you, like I said, his recent stats on road courses are awful, but he won the Busch Clash, and he honestly had one of the best cars in the Daytona Road Course race last year. So, just I think lineup construction is going to be crazy. So, as far as, I think DraftKings did a very good job in pricing this week, but I think they missed the mark on a couple guys. Definitely Alex Bowman. They have him priced at $9,000. If I'm making a cash lineup, that's the first guy I'm throwing in there. And even GPPs, I think you got to go heavy on him. Look at his stats recently on road courses. Top 15s in each of the last 8. Top 10s in 4 of those, including a second at the Charlotte Roval. He finished 8th at the Charlotte Roval last year, led 2 laps. But starting 36th, even if he just has an average race, he's going to be in the optimal lineup because he's starting so far back. Then you got someone like William Byron, who my projections love, 8,800, starting 22nd. He hasn't been up there with Chase Elliott and Martin Truex recently on road courses, but his speed has been at or near the top of everybody else, not named Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. So honestly, I would consider him a cash play this week. I would. And then do you go with Martin Truex? Do you try to save cap here with a Ryan Blaney, or even going down to Kyle Busch to save 400? But so right now we got Bowman, Byron, Blaney. Let's throw Ty Dillon in there. I can't throw my boy Daniel Suarez in there yet. Eric Jones, starting 37th, should be a popular pick. I definitely have concerns with his equipment. He was in the Gibbs car last year. No doubt he performed on the road courses. He constant top 5 threat. But how much of a factor is that Joe Gibbs racing car, or did that Joe Gibbs racing car make? I personally think it made a lot of difference. So you see here, even when he was racing with Furniture Row, 10th at Watkins Glen, then he moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing, 7th, 5th, 8th, 4th, 11th, 3rd, solid racing all around. If it was mostly talent, his Richard Petty Motorsports car should be more than enough to get him a solid finish here on Sunday, in my opinion. Or he's going to pull an Eric Jones and wreck. But Chris Buescher's another one that solid top 20 play on the road courses. I think a lot of people I don't know if they'll overlook him. That price just sucks. He did finish 5th here at the Daytona Road Course last year. Clearly not. That's an outlier on his finishes. And, you can say it was strategy or whatever. He's still a solid road course racer, though. And starting 30th has room for place differential. Which, by the way, he was also in position in the Busch Clash a week and a half ago to finish top 10. I think he like wrecked or something really late. Just something to know. Not that I'm saying I'm automatically going to go dip back in that well after his wreck killed me last week at Daytona, but you get the point. So we got Blaney, Byron, Bowman, Ty Dillon on this lineup. We still have 8,100 left for our last two drivers. Let's throw in Buescher here. That gets us up to 9,000. See, I don't love that. The save if this was a cash lineup, I'd probably, roll with DiBenedetto and Eric Jones. You could throw Almirola in there as well, but probably Eric Jones. If I wanted to differentiate myself, I'd come down here and grab Buescher. Let's go and look at it. I'm not 100% sure how awesome DiBenedetto is on road courses, but let's go and check. Pretty solid. Charlotte Roval last year, this is his worst finish in a while, 22nd, but before that, 15th, 11th, 6th, 4th, 13th. Pretty solid. Those were with those really good races were when he was in the Gibbs affiliated 95 car with Levine. So you have to think Gibbs has an advantage, a clear advantage at the road courses here lately. Yeah, Chase Elliott is great, but if he was in a Gibbs car, honestly, he might lap the field. It's just how good he is. But yeah, so finishing up this, I guess this is definitely a cash lineup. Bowman, Byron, Blaney, Ty Dillon, DiBenedetto, Jones. That's actually, if you throw my projections in, that's the top lineup that it has. I don't play cash games, so you're not going to find me using this lineup everywhere, by the way. But let's go and let's talk about outside dominators. So you obviously have Chase Elliott, who should put up plenty of laps led and fastest laps. But we have Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell starting second, Austin Dillon starting third. Let's talk about the guy starting fourth, Denny Hamlin. Again, Gibbs car. I don't know. I think people may overlook him. And if you know me, I don't like Denny Hamlin, and I'm considering being overweight on Denny this weekend at his price. So if you can throw in, a Denny Hamlin starting fourth, add in Alex Bowman, William Byron, maybe Chris Buescher, maybe Tyler Reddick. Again, I think it's going to be hard to make a lineup without jumping down here to Suarez or Ty Dillon. And I'm going to default to Ty Dillon just because he's cheaper. 8,400 left. So if I go and grab Buescher, leaves me at 96. I'm not in love with Keselowski. I think he has solid upside, but not super top 5 upside, I don't hate this lineup. So Chase Briscoe is driving the 14 car that we all know how good Clint Boyer was in that car on road courses. So let's go ahead and take a look at Chase Briscoe last year in the Xfinity Series. Indianapolis GP, which I'm pretty sure is a road course. Yeah. Won it. Road America or Elkhart Lake. Whatever. I don't know why it's called that on here. But finished third. Charlotte Road Course finished 18th. Did they? Oh, Daytona Road Course here. Finished 29th. But still, so solid numbers out of Briscoe on road courses last year. Nobody really knows how he's going to be. He's a rookie. We don't have a lot of data, like I said. But in a lineup like this, you throw in Chase Briscoe. You can throw in Kyle Larson. Larson is definitely an interesting play because he obviously didn't run. He only ran. Last time he's been on a road course was 2019, since he wasn't able to run him last year. The thing with Larson, though, people look at his stats and be like, there's potential there. He has 1 top 5 and 14 starts on road courses. But look at this. He was always so good at qualifying when we actually qualified. 3 poles, 2 second place starts, even more top 5s. He started inside the top 5 most of his road course starts. So that's why I'd be a little hesitant in taking Kyle Larson. I don't hate him by any means. I'm not gonna sit here and say don't pick him. I'm just saying I can justify why his numbers look like, oh, he ran better than he finished. It's because he started up front, especially when he started on the pole. But what's really telling is the times he started on the pole, and like at Sonoma here, 2017, pole, 9 laps led. Pole at Sonoma again, 2 laps led. Pole at Sonoma, 2019, 0 laps led. If he was really good at road course racing, he would have better stats, especially in that category. If you look at this progression though, from when he came into the Cup Series until 2019, he seems to be on a solid trend of more consistent leading. Will he be good enough this Sunday to get up there and lead? I personally don't see it, just because Chase Elliott's starting on the pole. Maybe if something happens to him, but then you got Denny Hamlin starting up there. And with how fast Truex has been at this track, he could very well be up there, in 10 laps. So while Larson, I think, could be a very good tournament play, he doesn't have the upside that I want to see, that makes me want to pick him. I do like the upside with Chase Briscoe starting 18. I've talked about Christopher Bell, 7,700. I still think Reddick could be more solid. Obviously, he has the place differential, but if you're looking for like a major tournament play, I think Christopher Bell is going to be one to watch. Even with this kind of centralized lineup, though, it still doesn't get you on where. So what if we got Hamlin, Bowman, Byron. Let's take off Bowman and throw on Buescher, and then throw Reddick on there. Leaves us enough room for Truex. Excuse me. So we got Truex, Hamlin, Byron, Reddick, Buescher, Ty Dillon. $100 left over, so you can switch out Ty Dillon with Suarez if you want to go 2 lineups featuring that. Let's do a lineup with Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez. How about that? Just because these guys, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, all priced 10,000 or above, all could have huge days simultaneously. These could all be top 5 finishers. Is that the more sensible approach to this slate, instead of going for the mid, a few of the mid guys going super heavy with two low dollar guys. So we'll start the sign up off with Suarez and Ty Dillon. Leaves us 96.75 for the remaining 4 drivers. So let's throw Bowman on there to get that average up a little bit more. Blaney. We're still going to have to, probably still going to have to go. I default to Byron here. So what if we 10-5? I don't love Allmendinger. So let's cut off Blaney and let's go Kyle Busch instead. Leaves us room for Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Ty Dillon, Daniel Suarez. Let's take Bowman and Byron. Obviously, I think Bowman's going to be the higher owned of Byron. So let's let's take Bowman off here. And Kurt Busch has actually pretty solid numbers on road courses. So last 2019 and 2020, let's just look at 2020. He spent the most laps inside the top 15. Let's go back and see how he finished. 4th, 14th, 20th at the Charlotte Roval in 2019, 10th, 13th, and then before that, 5th, 9th, 6th, 6th, 7th. So definitely not a trend that you love to see, but he did finish 4th at the Charlotte Roval last year. And he could very easily, being priced at 8,600. So you got Bowman, Byron, Kurt Busch right in that price range. Most people are going to gravitate first toward Bowman, then to Byron, then to Kurt Busch. So tournament-wise, pivot play, Kurt Busch over Alex Bowman or William Byron is how my mind would analyze that situation. So we throw Kurt Busch on there. That leaves us 1,600. What if you didn't like Kyle Busch, you could go up and grab Blaney here. You had Chase Elliott, Blaney, Kurt Busch, Byron, Ty Dillon, and Suarez. If you did like Kyle Busch, you could go up and grab Truex instead of Chase Elliott. To me, I could see Kyle Busch winning this race, but I don't see him dominating it by any means. So let's go. What if we did this? So we did like Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch. That still won't give. I was trying to get to Hamlin off of Byron, and I'm going to be 100 short there. So you could do take off Byron, add on Hamlin, take off Kurt Busch, and go Chase Briscoe. So you got Hamlin, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Briscoe, Ty Dillon, Suarez. What if we went Ty Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Chris Buescher gives us an average of 10.5. That's still not as high as I'd like. I was trying to see if we could grab Truex, Elliott, and Blaney in the same lineup. It's not going to be possible. But you could do Blaney, Elliott, Allmendinger, or Kyle Busch. You could do Truex, Blaney, Kyle Busch. I actually like that lineup. If you're going with the two, low dollar guys in Daniel Suarez and Ty Dillon. Kyle Busch, Truex, Blaney, Buescher, Ty Dillon, Suarez. You could also go Newman off of Buescher, but Newman's road course races or finishes aren't great by any means. Where's he at? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Finished 7th at Sonoma in 2019, but nothing good. Last 4, 31st, 19th, 32nd, 25th. Yes, he's a place differential play. He's starting back in 33rd, but I would rather go with Chris Buescher or Tyler Reddick instead of Newman. Let's throw one with Reddick in here. So we got Suarez, Ty Dillon, Reddick with an average of 10.4 left for the rest of the lineup. Let's do Truex and Elliott. Joey Logano is interesting. That's the tweet. Send tweet. Finished, I think, second here, or second at Charlotte Roval last year, 9th here at Daytona Road Course, 10th at Charlotte Roval before that. He just has like random top fives. He won at Watkins Glen, led the last lap. He had that string of 4 straight top fives, and then 12th, 24th, 19th, 37th, 10th, 23rd, 10th, 9th, and then randomly a second at the Charlotte Roval last year. I don't remember if his car was actually that good or if it was a strategy play at the end. We can probably tell by his driver rating in this race. This page will load. I love this site, but it takes forever sometimes. He had this solid race by Logano 122.5, only better by Chase at 129.6 in that race. So it seems legitimate. Logano finished third in the Daytona Road Course. So you can throw him on here. You got Truex, Elliott, Logano, Reddick, Ty Dillon, Suarez. Or you could pivot to Busher off of Reddick if you wanted, or something like that. Let's do one more lineup. How about that? So let's go back and look at my projections here. And I'm going to sort this table by dollar per fantasy point. Ryan Preece, Corey LaJoie both projected at negative fantasy points. So don't assume or don't think that those guys are good cheap options as far as value. But projections like Bowman, Byron, Blaney, Truex, Elliott as the best drivers for the price in terms of projected points. It's got DiBenedetto in there and Eric Jones. And these are, let's look at projected average finishes. Let's sort by highest points. So its average projected finish of Truex is 2.5, which is, but even Bowman, projections have him third highest in terms of DraftKings points and a projected average finish of 10.5. He could definitely be better than that. Byron projected average finish of 7.2, 54.58. So you just got to kind of take these. What I'm trying to get at is you got to kind of take this full chart into account if you rely on it in the very least. So yes, you got average projected points, but you also have to look at average projected finish. So we have, Eric Jones here averaging 42 DraftKings points, or projected 42 DraftKings points with an average finish of 18.8. Is he able to, what's his upside over that? Could he hit that 50-point mark by finishing 14th or 15th, since it's 18.8, or whatever the math turns out to? And same with DiBenedetto, starting 32nd. Can he pull off a top 12 finish and get to that 50-point barrier on DraftKings, which is going to throw him up this board? If you take the actual points here, it's going to throw him up the board compared to the projected. Tyler Reddick, and it works the opposite. So if a driver's projected average finish is worse than you think it is, you have to take that into account when it comes to their projected DraftKings points. So Christopher Bell, average projected finish 12.7, 30.7 DraftKings points. You get it. Suarez, average projected finish 27th, average number of DraftKings points projected 23.3. Ty Dillon coming in just a little bit better at 25 DraftKings points projected, with a little worse average finish actually of 27.5. So the projections love Byron and Bowman. So how about let's make a lineup without either of them. Let's see how that works out. So let's start here with, of course, one of the low dollar guys. Let's go Ty Dillon. And just because he looks so strong in the Busch Clash, let's go, Tyler Reddick. Leaves us 9,200, 9,225 for the last four drivers. If we go DiBenedetto as well, who should have top 15 upside. Kurt Busch, we talked about him. $10-1. And then you could go Blaney, Hamlin. So you got Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Matt DiBenedetto, Tyler Reddick, and Ty Dillon. I think that's a pretty solid lineup. If you wanted to jump up instead of Blaney and grab Chase Elliott, you're just going to have to find the $300 somewhere. We talked about Kyle Larson here. Throw in Kyle Larson, grab Chase Elliott. I really don't like the idea, though, of running two guys starting in the top 5 with so much place differential on the table. So essentially what I'm saying is it's certainly possible that the optimal lineup would include like both Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin, but the likelihood isn't great by any means. So I would shy away. I would go one or the other. I wouldn't go both. And especially if you're throwing Kyle Larson there as well, you know, that's getting pretty risky. And I like taking risks, but even that is risky. So that's why these, you know, William Byron, Alex Bowman are such strong plays here in this not mid price range, but above average price range. So we'll throw William Byron into this lineup. How about instead of DiBenedetto, we pair Chris Buescher with Tyler Reddick. That leaves us 10-2. You could throw Allmendinger in here. You know how I think about that. Kyle Busch. So let's cut off Byron and go Kurt Busch, and then you can get Blaney. So Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, Ty Dillon. If you wanted to go even, I was trying to see if I could cut off Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott and get Truex, and I don't want to go. I was trying to get Briscoe. Not possible. Let's go Truex, Blaney. Let's go. Let's kind of redo this here and see what kind of lineup we can put together with just like, you know, if Bowman's our highest priced. So we got Bowman, Byron, DiBenedetto, Reddick, could go Eric Jones, and that leaves you enough for Kurt Busch or Chase Briscoe, who both have similar upside in my opinion. You could also can't quite do that. If you didn't want to go Reddick in this lineup, you could go Almirola. So Bowman, Byron, DiBenedetto, Almirola, Jones, Briscoe. Solid, like a lot of solid drivers in there. That'd definitely be a type of lineup that I would enter in a few contests. If you're going that more centralized approach. I personally think the optimal lineup is going to include one, if not two, of these high-priced drivers, just because they're so good. And it's all going to come down to how much Chase Elliott leads and how much he dominates. We all know how good he is at these tracks, but I hope this helped. Hope my rambling helped and kind of running through these lineups. I'm not a huge fan of this slate just because of the starting positions, but that's what we have to deal with, and that's it. Good luck this weekend. I hope it's a great race. I have a feeling it will be. I really like watching the road course races and these strategy plays. As always, any articles are linked in the description of this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it on my site, you already know where all the articles are. Yeah, good luck, guys. See ya.